Hi, this is Cassidy Kao, and this video is for IEA's Virtual Learning Lab. Hopefully you guys aren't getting too bored at home, but I hope that I can help maybe just a little if you are. So we'll just get started. So we'll just start with some introductions. My name's Cassidy, like I said. I'm 14 and I'm in 9th grade. I'm a student of IEA, and yeah. So this is definitely an unsure and kind of scary time for everybody. So I hope that I can keep you occupied or maybe a little entertained for a while with this video. So this video is about math and poetry, mathematical poetry, and the combination of that. So the reason why I'm doing it is because you don't really see it often, and I thought it would be nice to put them together since poetry has been a big part of my schooling career, if you will. I'll talk about that later. And math has always been my favorite subject for the longest time, yeah. So like I said, poetry has been a big part of my schooling. And when I was 8, when I was younger, yeah, I didn't like writing. So so now I like writing because I think it's fun. But back then I hated it, absolutely, yeah. And back then my mom was just trying to get me to write because it's good to know how to write well or enjoy it. It's helpful. So she told me that April is actually National Poetry Month in the US. And so for every day of April in that year, I wrote one poem. And during that, I was like, that was kind of fun. And then at the end, I was like, let's make that into a book. So that's this one in the top left, Roller Coaster. And since then, I've written 3 more books, and I'm working on a couple. So one of the ones that I'm working on is about these workshops, basically. This is a series of different mathematical poetry workshops, and I'm just gonna take some poems from the kids that I've taught and put them into a book. Yeah. So if you decide to write some along with me today, and your parents are okay with it and you're okay with it, you can send your poem to me if you want. But that's going to be my email is going to be at the end of the video. So yeah, you've got a while to decide. And then iPoetTree. Okay, so iPoetTree is my nonprofit organization. It's where this video is coming from. It's where the workshops I just talked about are coming from. I've got a website with the videos kind of like this, where kids can learn how to write poems, and then they can share their poems with other kids. And yeah, I said workshops before, and I didn't even explain what they were. But I teach some physical workshops, this sort of thing. I've got some series, like some workshop series on just poetry. But yeah, so I've done a lot of those over 4 years, about more than 25 now. And now I usually do them in my community in California, but I've also done some while traveling, because last year for 8th grade, we went and traveled instead of doing school, basically. So I taught school there for like just while we traveled. So that was cool, yeah. I definitely enjoy seeing kids gain a bit more confidence about writing, because writing can be hard just by itself, but poetry, I think, makes it fun, I guess, and more easy to grasp. Yeah. So cool. Yeah, I think that's it for now, and that's enough about me. So we will go on to the academic part. So, okay, this is just our agenda. We're just going to be talking about Fibonacci numbers today. Maybe you've heard of them, maybe you haven't, both is okay. We're going to be talking about sequences and then Fibonacci numbers, which is like a specific sequence. And then we're going to be talking about some fibs, which is a type of poem that we'll learn about soon. And then you'll create your own kind of sequence poem. So yeah, I'll explain all of that later. And then at the end, we're going to just do some Fibonacci art, because everyone loves art. So yeah, okay, we can just get started. Okay, so a sequence. So maybe you've heard of it, but a sequence is a collection where order matters. A collection of objects, of things, yeah. But today we're going to be talking about a collection of numbers, so a number sequence basically. And when I say that order matters, I mean that something like 1, 2, 3 and 3, 2, 1 would be different sequences, because even though they have the same numbers in them, the order is different. Yeah. There are two main types. There are infinite and finite sequences. So 1, 2, 3 would be a finite sequence because it stops. But a sequence like every single number, or all odd numbers or even numbers, that's an infinite sequence because it keeps going. Today we're going to be looking at sequences with patterns in them. So a sequence like 1, 1, 2, 5, it's a sequence, but it doesn't really have a pattern in it that you can like distinguish really easily. So today, yeah, we're going to be focusing on things where you add the same number. Like in this example here, I'm adding 1 to 1 to get 2, 1 to 2 to get 3, yeah. Or you're subtracting a number, or you're adding them. So this is the Fibonacci sequence. Basically what you do to get the numbers of the Fibonacci sequence is you're adding, or to get one number of the sequence, you're adding the two numbers before it. So the first two numbers of the sequence are 0 and 1, and then you add them to get the next one, 1, and then you add those to get 2, and then 2 plus 1 to 3, 3 plus 2 to 5. And I have this on the screen, yeah, so you can just look at that. Yeah, so that's the Fibonacci sequence. It was invented by, or discovered by Leonardo of Pisa, like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. He was later called Fibonacci, but it only just means son of Bonacci, which was his father. So it's not his real name, yeah. He invented like the rules of the sequence of adding the two numbers before to get the next one, yeah. And then we see it in nature sometimes. It's really interesting. We don't really know why, but I have these pictures down on the bottom here, and this shell has like, this is the swirl of a Fibonacci sequence. It might not make sense now because I've only given you numbers and this is a object, but it'll be easier to visualize when we get into the art projects, yeah. And then this second picture, I don't really know what it is, but I've had it once and it kind of tastes like broccoli. It was pretty good. So yeah, and this is a sunflower. It's like the seeds that make swirls. Cool. So that was the math part. And now we're going to go on to fibs. So for fibs, they're sort of like haikus, if you heard of them. They rely on syllables. So syllables, you can figure out how many syllables are in a word by like putting your hand under your chin and seeing how many times it moves. So for syllable, it's syllable. So that's 3 syllables in syllables. Yeah. So each line of a Fibonacci sequence corresponds to one number in the sequence. So the first line has 1 syllable, the second one has 1, the third has 2, and then 2 to 3, 3, 5, 5 to, yeah. Like the sequence I showed you earlier. Yeah. The poems don't need to rhyme, but you can make them rhyme. This is like, there are some poems where one of the rules is having them rhyme, but there are poems like these where you can choose whether or not you want to make it a little harder. Yeah. So in this example, I have poems are, and then these are each one syllable. Always, 2 syllables. Up to you, 3 syllables. Freedom in your hands, 5. Everything according to plan, 8. So you can keep going. You can make it a bit shorter. Yeah, just as long as the number of syllables in each line follow the Fibonacci sequence. So this is another example. I said before how I have done some workshops. So this one is by Lizzie, and it goes Katz, 1 syllable, R, 1 syllable, cute and 2, cuddly, 3, playful all the time, 5, I take such good care of my cat, 8. So you can pause here and try to write your own if you'd like, and we will go on. We are going on to the next style. So this is basically the same thing, but with a different sequence of numbers, with a pattern. Yeah, you can do real numbers, which is just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, even numbers, 2, 4, 6. Number of words instead of syllables, which is what I have in this example here. It's whatever you want, as long as it has a sequence with a pattern. Yeah. So in this example, this is actually the same poem as the last one. So what I have is poems are always, and that's 1 word, then 2 words, up to you, 3 words, freedom in your hands, 4 words, everything is according to plan. So that one has 5 words. I have everything is instead of everything, so that the words would work. So here's another example again from my workshop. This one's by Ben, and what he did was he took the even numbers, so he has 2, 4, and 6 in this poem. So it's cute dogs are cool dogs too, 4. They chase, they play, they rest, 6. So again, you can pause here if you'd like and try it yourself, and we will go on. So yeah, that was the most academic part of the video. So now we're gonna go on to some art. I'm gonna move. I'll see you. Okay, so here I am now. You guys can't see me, but I am here with some scissors. Exercise caution, please. A pen or something to write with, like a marker. I've got some glue here, and then some string, yarn, string, whatever works, yeah. So we are going to start just by drawing a little square over here. Maybe over on the right more, because we're going to be doing a lot of stuff in the left. Okay, so that represents the 1, the first term from the Fibonacci sequence. And then the term after that is 1 plus 0. So we go to another one. Here, let me draw on the numbers. This is all upside down, so I hope you guys can read when we get into bigger numbers. But so 1 plus 1, you can see that with these 2 squares, we make a bigger square. And that is 2, hopefully. Hopefully that's a 2. And then we have 2 plus 1, and that is 3. 3. Okay, and then from 3 plus 2, or 2, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hopefully I can do 5 right. Hope that was right. Okay, and then 5 plus 3 is 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This one's a bit easier. I'll just do it like this. So that's 8. 8 plus 5 is 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13. Wait, 11, 12, 13. Oh, I forgot how to count for a second. Okay, and then we'll connect this. 13. Oh, you guys don't have to write these numbers in, by the way. I'll be erasing these later. Just so you guys know, though. 13 plus 8 is 21, so we'll fit that in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Okay. Okay, and then I don't think we can fit the last one in here, but oops, this is 21. Okay, and then 21 plus 13 is, wait for it, 34. And that can't fit here, so we are just gonna do this. This is optional, by the way. You don't have to do this part, but I want to help you guys visualize it. Yeah, okay, so I'll be right back. I'm gonna erase these. Okay, we're back, and I'm half erased. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the swirl part. I told you that snails have this in their shell, and you might not be able to see it right now, but I will show you. So what you're gonna do is you're just gonna draw a half circle or a quarter circle from one corner to the other, and then you take from this corner we draw another quarter circle, from this corner another quarter circle, and we're just going to do that for every square, and hopefully it should look like a swirl at some point. Here, let me erase this to make it look nice. And from here to there. It does start to get a bit harder for these bigger ones, so just try your best, you know? Hey, that was pretty good. I'll take it. And then it cuts off here, but I will go in the general direction of where it would go. Cool. And then, so if, I don't know, maybe you could see this being in a snail shell somewhere. So, lastly, we're just gonna take your string, yarn, whatever, and you can do like a bit of a approximation of how long it would be compared to this. I'm just gonna cut that. And this is where the glue comes in. So it's better to do it on the paper rather than the actual string, because it does get pretty messy if it's on the string. But you can just do a few parts at a time and just stick it to that swirl we just drew. Here we go. Okay. And then it's just a bit clearer to see this line that I'm talking about when I say you can see the Fibonacci numbers in nature. Alright, and then just cut this part off. And honestly, you can do whatever you want with this. You can color in this part, like do different colors, but it's really all about visualizing this swirl. It's quite an easy project, but it's just nice to be able to see what I mean when I say Fibonacci numbers in a sunflower seed. But yeah, that's it, and that was fun, I hope. So let's go back for a second, and we will be done soon. So that was the end of the art, and now there are just a few things that you can check out if you want. This is iPoetTree's website, the one that I was talking about before. Yeah. So it's basically where you can watch some videos and share some poetry with others. I have the traveling blog, which is when in 8th grade last year, I traveled around the world, and I also taught some poetry workshops. So we have a few blog posts on there. And then if you have any questions, or if you want to send me your poem, maybe like a picture, you can send it at my email. This is iPoetTree's, or my initials, and yeah. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you were a bit occupied, I guess, over while we did this. So yeah, that's it. Bye.